Let's talk about Aloe Blacc. So you've been playing guitar with him for how long now?
I think I started playing with him in like 2008.
Wow.
Before he was like the Aloe Blacc that we know now. And then he got I Need a Dollar synced to HBO show. Shortly after that, it just like went up.
I do want to talk about, some of the cool things that you've been able to do, playing along with Aloe Blacc.
Been on Jimmy Kimmel 5 times. I was stoked to have done Letterman. I've been on Conan. I've been on the Today Show. Like, I've got to play Glastonbury. We did the Nickelodeon Teen Choice Awards.
Wow.
We opened up for Bruno Mars for a month. One of the coolest tours that I've ever done was the Soul Fest tour. The headliners were D'Angelo, Maxwell, Common, Mos Def, Leela James, I think, and Music Soul Child.
Let's talk about Mystical Joyride. Definitely wanted to get into that. Super dope project you do with your wife. One thing that I love about y'all is that the visual branding. It has a look, it has an aesthetic, it has a vibe.
With this project, like, my goal has sort of always been like, make something you've never heard before, make something and make it you've never seen it before. So it's hard to completely brand something and say, oh, we're this genre. Well, we're genre fluid. And polyamorous.
Nice.
So you mentioned earlier we had a couple songs go viral.
Videos using that song have amassed about 1 billion views, plus.
Definitely people think we're weirdos. It's like if it makes somebody mad, then it's probably somebody making somebody else really happy. Or like vice versa.
You say rode with Anthony Hamilton on a drunken excursion. Can you please explain? He plays guitar for Aloe Blacc, and he's produced for him as well, and that's taken him to places all over the world and landed him on shows like Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Hudson as well. He also has a project with his wife called Mystical Joyride, and they've had songs go viral on TikTok. Joel Van Dijk.
Yes.
What's going on, man?
Broadway B.
How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, thank you for being here, man. I appreciate you.
Yes,
Glad we get to do this.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Aloe Blacc. So you've been playing guitar with him for how long now?
Man, I've been playing with him. I think I figured it out recently. It was like, I think I started playing with him in like 2008.
Wow.
Before he was like the Aloe Blacc that we know now. When I first started playing with him, he was on Stone's Throw. He had like some like underground success, and he was like one of the artists that I was playing with in LA. And then he got I Need a Dollar synced to HBO show, which got syndicated to the world. And the next thing you know was like, there was a couple small tour moments, like we were touring in his dad's RV, we were touring, but then like shortly after that, it just like went up, straight up. So yeah, man, got to do some of the cool things, that you get to do in this industry.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. So 2008, how did you guys meet?
Yeah, so I went to the Musicians Institute. That's what brought me to LA.
Okay.
I grew up in Northern California, and I was just in my early 20s. I was like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm just like doing nothing.
Yeah.
And then I remembered I had been reading Guitar World magazine all these years, and they always had the MI ad in them with like this big old list of like a ton of bands where like the people came out from who went to MI were all in all these bands. And I was like, man. So I decided to go to MI. And while I was there, I met my friend Tomer Sweeney. He's a drummer, and he was the drummer for Aloe for probably the first 10 years or so. He's stepped off, but yeah, so I met him, and Tomer was putting together a band for Aloe for a specific show. It was like the Stone's Throw, it's like their anniversary show. There's actually like if you see the documentary, the Stone's Throw documentary, there's actually like there's some shots of us from that show.
Oh, nice.
It was at the El Rey, and that was like our first show with him. That was like before any of like I Need a Dollar, and all that stuff's happened. So it's just like meeting musicians, and next thing you know, like we were rehearsing for Aloe in his living room, in Tomer's living room down in Marina. So it's like it's it's like one of those things, you know, somebody, they connect you with the next thing. And I mean, at the time, you know, it was just like Aloe Blacc was just, yeah, he's cool. He's like just one of the dudes that we play with in LA, you know. And it was funny. I tell this story that like, you know, there was at some point I was like, I had to tell, you know, Aloe, I was like, hey man, like, you know, I really need to like make some money on some of these gigs, man, you know, because like I'm just doing it. Because at the time, you know, there was like free gigs and stuff, you know, all part of the hustle and grind of, you know, making it as a musician, paying your dues.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's incredible. That's so funny. Like, and it's so true that, you know, you never know what's going to be the thing, you know? And so it's like about just meeting as many people as you can, playing with as many people as you can.
That's right.
And like I said, you just never know.
Yeah, I mean, there was like a couple people I met when I first moved to LA. You know, just trying to figure out find other musicians, find stuff. You know, Craigslist was and probably still is a thing for people starting out trying to find some community in their area. And like, you know, one of the producers that I met with, and we were working in his like kitchen, like making beats, was this dude Cook Classics, who like. He's done like a ton of like big records now. And like, you know, it's like we started, you know, somebody I connected with off of Craigslist, and we were all like both starting, and he needed somebody and I needed him, you know, to like make stuff. And like now he's done some huge things, and, you know, I've gotten some pretty good like syncs with him. And, you know, another one was like this artist E. Reese that I played with for years at the beginning. He's a hip hop artist, but through his band, I met all these other musicians that I ended up playing with them like throughout the years on different projects. And, you know, so yeah, it's like, and, you know, both of those things started out as free gigs that like, you know, it was just like for the love of it. And then they turn into like numerous other, you know, branches of making money here and, or just other projects and stuff, you know.
Yeah. That's an interesting point too, because I feel like sometimes a lot of artists, they worry about the money too early, I feel like, a lot of times, you know what I mean? And then maybe potentially take themselves out of potential opportunities, I feel like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think that I think it needs to be said that like there's the difference between being a musician and then being an artist. I mean, I think that both of them, you have to pay your dues in. Being a musician is a little different because like a lot of times you're helping somebody else with their vision.
Sure.
So, you know, if you're trying to get your foot in the door as a musician, you still have to pay your dues. You still have to help people out, show them, you know, like what you can do and meet all those other people on the gig that you can do. So, you know, there is some free stuff you got to do at the beginning. You know, there's always a level of like, there's a classic like saying that's like should have the three things. Should be like, it's like 2 of 3 things. Either should be really good money, a really good hang, or music that you just absolutely love. It should at least have one of those things. Yeah. Ideally 2, and if 3 is like the unicorn gig, you know? But yeah, as an artist, you know, I don't know. I'm still paying the dues. It's just like seems like forever. You gotta even once you blow up, you're like you still got to pay the dues. You got to do the benefits, and you got to do, you know, like TV shows. Like I mean, as a musician, I make money, but I think a lot of the time, you know, like Aloe, like sometimes I don't know if it was like the Ellen show years ago, but like they like bill you back for it. You know what I mean? Like you get on the show and they're like, okay, that was your promotion. So I don't want to call out the Ellen show specifically. I think it maybe was, but that show doesn't even exist anymore. So who cares? Right. But you know, sometimes you got to pay to play to get that promotion or whatever, you know, just do it for free, or, you know, it's just, there's always like this like element of like promoting, trying to show people what you got so they can see it. Yep. And then there's like, obviously, you know, having to like eat.
Yes, right. And obviously, you have to do what you have to do, and you have to eat, and you have to survive and all that. But I feel like I feel like good things will come if you do it for the love. And now obviously if it's not something you really want to do, like charge whatever, but like, you know, if it's fun and, you know, and I feel like it also helps you like keep leveling up your skills too, to just like, you know, play as much as possible. And there's a time in everybody's career when they can develop the ability to say no. Yes.
And that still fluctuates. You know, like I go and this comes in seasons. There's some seasons where I'm just like, nah, I'm good. I got, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, there's something to be said about the value of your time, and that's worth more than money.
Yeah.
Especially if you were an artist.
Yeah.
Like, because I can say yes to every single gig right now in my life. I could say yes to every single thing that comes my way. But do I want the amount of time and energy that I'm gonna have to like spend doing not my thing?
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be substantial, and then you know, your focus is split in different places.
Yeah.
I find, you know, it's been a little bit slow for me with the Aloe Blacc thing recently. My last show with him was in July, but that kind of like open spaced for me to focus on my band, Mystical Joyride, which we had a lot of big festivals that we were doing, and like, so now I'm like, you know, back to like needing to say yes more, and you know, like, so it's just there's that ebb and flow of everything. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely get into Mystical Joyride, you know, a little bit more later. First, I do want to talk about, you know, some of the cool things that you've been able to do, you know, playing along with Aloe Blacc. Yeah. I mentioned earlier, you know, TV shows like Jimmy Kimmel, Jennifer Hudson.
Yeah, so Jimmy Kimmel, I'm a 5-timer actually.
Yeah, nice.
I need a special hat
or
something, you know,
totally.
The 5-timer hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Been on Jimmy Kimmel 5 times. I was stoked to have done Letterman before his show was canceled. Partially because like Letterman was one of my favorite late night hosts, and he's still doing dope stuff. If you follow him. But yeah, so I got to do Letterman. I've got to play Glastonbury. Wow. We did the Nickelodeon Teen Choice Awards. Wow. We opened up for Bruno Mars for a month. Wow. I got to, you know, I've actually been on a ton of European TV. Which I couldn't even tell you the name of half of these shows, and it was also years ago. But one of them was pretty cool. I got to play with Manu Katché is a drummer. If you haven't heard of him, he played for Peter Gabriel. He still plays for Peter Gabriel, I think. But I got to be on his show, and actually we did a song where we played with Manu Katché playing the drums, which was like also like my dad was a big Manu Katché fan, so it was like I got to like fulfill like my dad's dream through doing my thing. Awesome, man. Oh, you know, and I just was reminded the other day that one of the coolest, at least in terms of like optics, tours that I've ever done was the Soul Fest tour, and that happened in 2014. And that was the headliners were D'Angelo, Maxwell, Common, Mos Def, Leela James, I think, and Music Soul Child. So it's like just like, and it was like a 4-date festival tour. So we got to do like, you know, we're traveling around with. I didn't get to meet D'Angelo, unfortunately, but I got to meet Maxwell, who was super friendly, and you know it. As much as I love D'Angelo, I kind of have to say that I liked Maxwell's show better that time.
Man,
it's just there's like a level, you know, especially saying this, you know, rest in peace, D'Angelo. Like one of my favorite artists for sure. But there was a certain amount of chaos that was happening during his set, and like Maxwell's just like smooth execution, just like. You know, so but I guess that's like, you know, genius sometimes comes with chaos.
Yeah,
so, you know?
Absolutely. That's crazy. Like getting to witness all those artists perform, and you know what? So you said Maxwell was smooth execution. What else about his performance?
Oh man, well he had a really great band that time too. Part of that was he had this guy Tiny playing drums, and what's his name? I'm spacing on his bass player. Who plays with Robert Glasper a lot. Was his MD at the time. Okay. And it was just a really tight band, tight execution, tight show. Yeah. You know, I like it. I love like a good, like, I mean, you know, it's music, but it's also entertainment. And so like, you know, when you're on stage, there's like the element of like, yes, high level music, but there's also like the show and like the way that the way that it transitions, and then like, just the flow of everything, you know, like D'Angelo is very focused on the music. I would say like a little bit less focused on like the show. He's like riding the energy. Like, where are we going to go with this? I have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes,
Yeah.
whereas like Maxwell, at least in that case, was like, he knew where it was going and everybody was like, knew where it was happening. And like, they knew when to have their moments.
Got you.
You know? So,
yeah.
You know, all respect to D'Angelo though.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. I love, you know, I still love it.
But. Yeah, for sure. Since you brought that up, I was actually going to ask you about that because you posted about that experience, that 2014 show with all those people playing, and I just want to, I'm gonna read something from that real quick, because I was going to ask you about all the people you just mentioned, and then at the end of that post, you say, rode with Anthony Hamilton on a drunken excursion. Yeah. Can you please explain? Because you mentioned, you know, you played with D'Angelo, or on the stage with Maxwell and D'Angelo, and then at the end you said, and went on a drunken excursion with Anthony Hamilton. Please tell us.
So it was less of me going on a drunken excursion with him so much as we were like, you know, like you're on a festival tour.
Yeah.
At the end of the night, there's only so many transport cars, right? Like I was also like sitting next to Khalees and we were chopping it up one of these times and like, you know, so anyways, we're, you know, I get in the van, it's like me and the drummer, Tomer, and Anthony Hamilton and like one of his Hamiltones homies gets in there. And man, if they weren't singing the whole way home and the song though, was just kept on coming back to the hook was like, we're gonna pour too much. It just was like, it just was this drunken song about pouring too much. And we like stopped at a hotel. They were trying to get some groupies. It was a whole thing. I mean, I wasn't actually like drunk or excursioning per se. I was just like, you know, trying to get my singing every now and again. But those guys are so good at singing. It's hard to even, know, just add my notes in there.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. You were talking about, you know, Jimmy Kimmel being a 5-timer. Wanted to ask you more about like that whole experience. How was it like being on that show? I mean, it looks like it would be a super fun time, and Kimmel seems like, you know, he'd be a fun dude. So I was just curious about how that was.
I think was it the first time?
I've been on so many times I can't remember which time was which.
And you know, I mean, I've been on Conan, I've been on the Today Show, like all, you know, like a lot of the still haven't been on Saturday Night Live though, like, you know,
so the goal.
Keep that one, keep that one in the prayers.
Hell yeah.
But one of the times, I guess the standout one for me was we were doing South by Southwest, and Jimmy Kimmel was actually doing this Jimmy Kimmel show from South by Southwest.
Okay, dope.
Like an Austin version.
Nice.
And we played The Man, and the UT drum line like came in and played the song with us.
Nice.
Like while we were playing it.
Yeah.
That was one of the standout times.
Nice.
Their whole crew and the peeps, everybody's like cool on that. They did have so as the, you know, some of the time I've been the musical director for Aloe. That has come in and out.
Okay.
Like sometimes there's different people doing the main thing, but so like part of your job is like after you do the live performance, you got to go in the audio room, listen to the mix, kind of like give the guy some suggestions. But until just this last year, they had the most salty like sound guy in there. Some of these guys, you know, they're sitting in this like back audio room and they're just, you know, salty. Like last time, the last time I went in there, the guy just was basically just trying to talk my ear off to the point that I wouldn't actually suggest anything because he was, but yeah, they got a new guy this last time and he was actually really friendly. So
dope. You gotta love the salty sound guys. We've all experienced those time and time again.
Yeah, but these are like the high level audio room dudes that, you know, they're sitting, but they also like, you know, they're also salty. They got like people in their ear like saying, okay, we need to go to this, you know, doing TV for them is like a crazy thing, audio and, you know, all that stuff. Yeah. So sometimes they're crunched for time and you're like, hey, can you make the snare louder? And they're like, or like, you know, I hit a wrong note on that one. Every now and then you can get them like edit like something.
Yeah.
Funny story with the last time I did Jay Hudson.
Yeah.
Playing halfway through the song. We've done this like when you're in there, you've been in the studio all day. You like a sound check. You did numerous run-throughs. You did a rehearsal. You did 2 rehearsals. And then I'm playing, and my amp goes out halfway through the song.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, oh, man. And like Jennifer Hudson, they're looking at me too. And I'm like, this is like my moment. I'm supposed to do my solo. And I'm just like, but you just got to smile. And, you know, like, ain't nothing wrong.
Yeah.
You know, they ended up splicing my solo from one of the rehearsal
takes. Yeah. Okay.
So that was, you know, so it was TV, man. You hope for the best.
You roll with it. No, I understand. I used to produce news for NBC Los Angeles. So it's like live TV and then breaking news. So I understand like that pressure of like having the deadlines. And then if something goes wrong live, it's just like, oh, well, we're live. Like, what, you know? So I definitely get all that.
That makes sense that you work for TV because you got the professionalism about you.
Oh, well, thank you. No, I appreciate it. You also produced for Aloe Blacc as well. Did some co-producing and things like that. To talk about that.
We've done a number of things over the years, but the first one that was like one of my favorites, we did when we first started touring, and like there was a couple things, like there was this track that we did for Mojo magazine, which is like was like maybe a UK based magazine, but they would like one of the magazines that would come with the CD, and then it had like a specific like a sampler or something like that. But like they had actually like got a bunch of cool people to make Rolling Stones covers. So like Sharon Jones and the Dap Kings were on there, and like a bunch of cool people. And it was actually titled as Aloe Blacc and Joel Van Dijk, I Got the Blues. Nice. And I'll tell you what, man, Aloe Blacc, he's got some okay vocals on a number of tracks out there, but man, he sang the shit out of that song, bro. He's saying I Got the Blues. That's it, just so good.
Nice.
So so that was one of them. I love it. I'm not really supposed to say it, but I produced the Man remake that was on the recent Chappelle outro. Wow. Okay. So we did I've actually reproduced a lot of his hits for just like for licensing and that kind of thing. So,
okay, nice.
So technically, you know, I'm not posting it online, and maybe don't make this as like the main clip. Yeah. But I remade the Man for him, and that got like in the Chappelle show, which is pretty cool. That's like we also I redid one of the Can You Do This is another song, and that got in the Mercedes commercial last year. Nice. I did a little bit of co-production on his newest album. There's a song called Breakthrough that I started, and then we sent that to DJ Khaled, and then he not DJ Khaled. I think he might also be DJ Khaled. No, there's Khaled and Khaled. Yeah, I know it's confusing. Yeah. Or is it an E or an I? Yeah. There's the artist Khaled. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right, yeah. But yeah, so, and then like been part of a number of things that we've done over the years. Just various stuff. Cool. You know, we've done some stuff that's in this catalog for Sync that hopefully it'll see the, you know, see the, we did one track for his album in 2013 that ended up being like a Fashawn and Nas track. So that was pretty cool. Nice. So yeah, I've just, you know, this is a little of this, a little of that, you know, like making records. I mean, he's got 1 million records unreleased, and, you know, I can relate. But, you know, it's just like you make stuff, and, you know, hopefully he's actually got some really good, he's always trying to play Mr. Cool, like don't make any waves type things, but he's got some like really good, like political, like, you know, he's got a song that's unreleased called, and it goes like, I am an American. Un-American. You know what I mean? It's, anyway, it's like a play on words. Yeah, yeah. And the rich get rich. But anyways, Aloe Blacc, you better release those songs, dog. It's time.
Yeah, we need them.
We need them, bro. Yeah, you can't go. Just, you know, but he likes to keep it cool, and I understand. And you know, respectable. So in case he runs for mayor someday. Yeah. Totally get that. But you know.
All right, that's what's up, man. Definitely a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah. And then he featured on a Mystical Joyride track
Dope.
Our theme song, Mystical Joyride. He wrote a really cool verse, which now I do the verse live, and it's kind of in like his parents are Panamanian. And so it's like a little bit patois, you know, so I'm like a white dude up there. Like I try not to go like super hard on the accent, you know, but like some people, but it's still like, you know, it's like dance hall, like rapping. And it's like, you know, sometimes it just has to be that way.
Yeah.
but a few people that I know who like they're like, usually I'd be mad at you for that, but you did it really well.
Did it
so
justice.
yeah, exactly.
Dope.
Yeah. And then I had a little side project that kind of didn't really see much light. Partially, it was a rebranding, and then the time that I made it, I didn't really get the chance to promote as much. But we actually did a song where I wrote the song and he sang it. It's called "Funny Paper," and it was basically like my response to "I Need $1." And I said, I don't really want to need $1.
Nice.
So yeah. That's it's still people. I don't think really anybody's like really found it or like picked up on that. It was like he's like singing the antithesis to that song. It's out there floating on the internet. But good luck finding it.
Yeah, I have to try to look that up.
Special Force actually was the name of the project.
Okay.
Funny Paper is the name of the song.
Cool.
So you know, it's some like weird psychedelic soul vibes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Dope. I have to check that out. Okay, so yeah, you were just mentioning Mystical Joyride. Let's talk about Mystical Joyride. Definitely wanted to get into that. You know, super dope project you do with your wife. It's very high energy, and it's one thing that I love about y'all is that the visual branding. It has a look, it has an aesthetic, it has a vibe. Whether it's social media content or whether it's on stage, it has a vibe, and it's more like an experience versus just you're just watching somebody sing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, from the live performance standpoint, you know, there's props and there's, you know what I mean? And like I said, the outfits and like the whole thing is a vibe. And then, like I said, from like social media standpoint, just having like that consistent visual branding, I feel like is something that's important that not a lot of artists really think about. I feel like a lot of us, we think about, okay, I want my sound to be this, you know, but beyond that, I feel like the visual, I feel like a lot of us don't really think about, okay, how am I going to stand out visually? And I feel like that's something that y'all kill it, you know? So yeah, talk about kind of that process of arriving to that visual branding and like how y'all think about that.
How did I mean, it kind of started, I just mentioned the Special Force band because, so Mystical Joyride started, Special Force was happening and it was like a 6-piece band and like took a lot to happen every time. And Leah and I got married and we had our separate projects. We were helping each other and doing everything, but it was just still like each pushing our thing forward and individually. And then so we were like, let's start something new. Let's do it together. And it kind of like evolved out of like where Special Force was going, which was kind of like this cosmic psychedelic soul vibes. But we kind of took a little bit more of like Leah's songwriter kind of vibes as well. And like, or also like it's starting to like incorporate like more like hip hop into it. But I was, with this project, like my goal has sort of always been like, make something you've never heard before, make something and make it, you've never seen it before. So when you hear it or you see it, you're like, what is, like, you know, like you may be confused because it's not, the idea is not to cater to what the things that you've already seen. Go down the lane that you've already been down. You know, which has, it's positive and negatives. Yes. You know, it's like it's hard to completely brand something and say, oh, we're this genre. Well, we're genre fluid. Yeah. And polyamorous.
Yeah. Nice. I love that. I love it.
You know, so it's like we have, but I think those are the things that like the cosmic vibes is like, the cosmic is like the futurism of where I'm trying to come with that. Like sometimes we're like kind of like alien-y. And that's again, like where it's like, okay, you've never seen this before. This is something new for you, you know, like, So and then those, but then like also like I try and keep like the rooted like guttural like tribal human experience like in there. So it's like this like tribal futurism like that's kind of like I guess that's like how I would describe the aesthetic. You know, it's like cosmic, wizardy like future aliens, but like so some people think definitely people think we're weirdos. It's funny because so you mentioned earlier we had a couple songs go viral in Bangladesh, and the Bengalis are seeing these videos of us. You know, we have our friend Arzine who joins the band sometimes, and we came up with these two songs, and they have Bengali lyrics. But you know, he's showing up and he's like joining our aesthetic for this. And like these traditional Bengalis, like in the middle of their country, getting fed this stuff by Facebook, are just like, what is wrong with these people? They just can't take it. They're just like, what is going on? Why are they dressed like that? Why are they dancing like that?
Wow.
What is this? You know, but that's
do those comments help actually fuel it, and is probably part of what
well,
helped
you know,
it,
that it, absolutely it's it's some confusion, some of the hate is actually the thing that drives the algorithm. You know, it's like the thing that, but you know, I found this throughout the years, marketing, you know, learning music marketing, which has been a whole curve of the thing. But if people are not feeling a certain type of way about it, then it doesn't really catch them.
Yes.
So it's like if it makes somebody mad, then it's probably somebody making somebody else really happy. Yeah. You know, or like vice versa. Like so it's if it's making somebody really happy, it's making somebody else mad. That's the polarity of like our dualistic world that I can't explain. Like I like, and my mission on this earth and like in art and everything is to bring people together. So it's really interesting when I'm like dividing people, and that's the thing that's working. You know what I mean? So I can't explain that. That's just the social media weirdness of this time.
I mean, but I think it goes back to what you were saying earlier about trying to do something that hasn't been done. Right. And I feel like anytime anybody does something that's different and that's unique, it sets you apart, but it also, people don't understand it. I feel like it's been that way throughout history. There's this new thing that pops up and it's like a cultural phenomenon, and like the traditionalists are all like, oh, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? And the same thing with like, you know, rock and roll music and like, you know what I mean? There's always those people that are like, and you know, like, you know, if you've seen like Ray Charles like story, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, you're turning gospel into this, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? And so there's always those people when there's a thing that is unique or is different. Like you said, it's going to make some people really happy and it's going to make some people pissed off. Yeah. Well, you know, some people in this world are very concerned with keeping the tradition. And, you know, you talk about like Bangladesh and very traditional country. There's not a lot of like they're like a 91% Muslim country. So they're all, you know, they're all like thinking the same. They're like sameness is sort of like what they're going for. Right. So, and like, you know, some people are like, you guys are ruining our culture. And like, you know, I'm experimenting with your culture. Ruining is subjective. You know, like I'm making, words, it's always been actually like low key, like part of my goal with like working with our zine, because America is a hard market, man. It's like so saturated, and even the weird stuff. There's lots of weird stuff to here too. There's lots of everything, right? So, you know, having our zine, who's somebody who sings in Bangla, and then like giving like, you know, the track that went viral has like, you know, influences from like a little bit of hip hop, a little bit. I was also like experimenting with like a little bit of Afro beats, kind of like vibes on it. So it's like this fusion of all these elements. I'm like taking a little of this, a little spice of this, a little spice of that. And like that worked, you know, but it was like an access to a new market to give them something new that they haven't seen or haven't heard before. And I was like, that. Okay, you know? Yeah. And just so people know what we're talking about when we say viral, videos using that song have amassed about 1 billion views, like plus. So there's two songs that went viral. The first one was called Kala Kala. Okay. And that one went big on like Facebook, really blew up, and like our
our YouTube video is up to like 2 million views or something like that. And like, we still post stuff regularly just because it's like once you have a viral thing, you just got to keep reposting it because it still gets the engagement. You know what I mean? Like, and then the second song is actually a cover song, interestingly. It's called Bishom Purity. And it's like kind of like a sexy love song. Okay. And then I made the beat even like more sexy. And so like all these like TikTok girls are like, these Bengali TikTok girls, it's like they like the video. They just do their, give them the serve in their lyrics. And they're, the two of those songs combined with, if you like the stats on it, like all the views on the videos that have used the song. Got it. So like, let's say there's 400,000 videos that have used the sounds, and then the views on those, because like some of those particular videos have millions of views. So then, but it's like over 1 billion.
That's crazy.
Which is like, whoa.
That's insane. Yeah, with a B. Like, that's nuts.
Yeah. I mean, show me the money, but
yeah.
Still yet to see the check that makes sense for that kind of engagement. But I'm still trying to figure out what. Apparently, some of it's on a delay because like stuff gets paid quarterly or whatever. So but I was trying to figure it out. Supposedly, you get paid on like how many videos actually use your song, not how many views there are on it, or like I don't know.
Okay,
it's a confusing industry, man. I feel like music is like. And then I keep on finding other places where you can register to like get more money. Oh, there's money floating here. It's like, every now and then I'll find where somebody will say, hey, Joel, I saw your name on this list on this website for the film and music like something secondary markets fund. Yeah. Bro, there's like $3,000 sitting for me. You know what I mean? That's like, wow. I couldn't even explain. There's like, this is music and money is such a funny thing.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, there's a lot of hidden money, different places that most artists don't have no idea.
Yeah,
about. I mean,
even like registering your songs to all the appropriate things. Yes. Like, there's no like catch-all. Like, oh, you just do it here and then it's done. Right. No, and then like like you should. Some people say, oh, you should do it, have it all ready when you release your song, which is like what you're supposed to do. Yes. I still don't, I'm still working on getting that together because I'm, being the record label and the artist and everything else and it's the promoter and
it is definitely a lot. Yeah, I've been trying to be better about that in terms of registering, my songs, kind of everywhere before I put them out and, doing all of that stuff. And like, so I'll like copyright it with the copyright office, and then I'll do register with ASCAP. But then there's still other stuff that you should be doing. So it's
there's the MLC.
Exactly, the MLC, exactly.
Interestingly, Kala Kala, that first song that I was telling you about that went viral. Yeah. I didn't like do a proper copyright, and that shot me in the ass because these Bengalis who hate us so much, like some of them, like they actually went through the process to do a copyright takedown, and they got our song taken down for like a fraudulent claim, and they got the song taken down for a month, so which definitely hurt the growth of the song too. And then it tried to happen another time. Now I switched distributors. I'm out of that the whole fucking DistroKid bullshit. I'm still releasing music on DistroKid, but still. So but now I have a distributor who's more invested in protecting our rights, which I think most of these distributors out here
they don't give a shit.
No. Yeah. You're not paying them like enough probably. And then also the volume. I mean, like DistroKid itself puts out like 60,000 songs a day.
It's a lot. And then it's like if you have an issue, I've had many a friend who've had an issue. They try to change something or do this, and it's like you can't get a hold of anybody. You can't. It's like impossible to get your
it took a long time to get
resolved.
Even that fraudulent claim, and I got an email back from the guy because once you get a fraudulent claim and you got to like you go through a process of like. You have to. They say, "Oh, sort it out with the person who made the claim." So I sent the guy an email. What are you doing? What are you talking about? Like, he's like, "Oh yeah, well I got paid to take down your song. What do you think about that?" And I say, "Okay, screenshot, send it to the distribution company." I'm like, "Hey guys, look, But then they're like, well, but you have to go through the DMCA process, which is like 10 days for reversal of claim. They can file a lawsuit or whatever. It's like,
man. Yeah.
But anyways, we're back up.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and so, but I mean, I do love that you said like, you know, like not having the copyright bitch you asked, but now you know, and so now it's like
I still haven't copyrighted the other things that I need to do. It's a lot to do all that.
No,
it
also
also costs money. You know what I mean? Which is like, still we're like, you know, it's cost versus reward. I mean, I feel like that they're probably not going to attack our songs. They're more likely to attack the Bengali songs.
Yeah.
But
true.
So which I switched distributors to a distributor called Gone Bach Show out of Australia, and they're like more focused on that market specifically. So you know, they made claims of being able to protect it, and they did actually take down some. They found some like really interesting like AI versions of the song. Oh, wow. That, you know, like that's a trip too in itself. Song goes viral. You know, there's a bunch of people. I think there was some straight up AI versions that people made, but then they'll like make AI versions of the artwork. So it's like these like AI versions of our faces, like, and like with the, I don't know, it's crazy, man. It's
definitely a wild time with the AI stuff. Also, I love how you described, I was watching an interview that you were doing, and you described the music as, it was, and I may be paraphrasing, but something like spiritual meets ratchet.
Yes.
And I love that because I think also kind of having a specific description for your music, not just a specific visual aesthetic, but also a specific description for your music that is unique. I feel like it's also going to help you, you know, kind of stand out and set you apart.
Standing out and standing apart is no issue.
Yeah.
Getting on the playlists that are like, you know, lane specific. Yeah. That's the bigger issue. But you know, I mean, I can't worry about that too much. I mean, sometimes like we did release a house album this last year called House Magic, which actually that one specifically, and I made it for a specific lane. I was like, okay, I want it to be like kind of like chill out, like house music. And there was like a bunch of playlists for that. So that got playlisted a bunch because it was like a specific lane.
Yes.
The rest of our music is more like general, which doesn't serve us in like the playlisting thing. But the interesting thing when you like really look at like what pop music is, like what is pop music?
Right.
It's like it like the genre. Really like it's everything. Like it's pretty vague.
Yeah.
But it's also like I could say that that's pop music. It's like so sometimes our music is just pop music. You know what I mean? But it's like but it is spiritual and ratchet or like these other things. But it's like if you know, I think about the 90s because like the 90s had such a cool versions of what pop music was doing at that time, where it's like the sounds were so like they're actually like really experimental and like they did a lot of like broad things. You know what I mean? Broad, like if you listen to the pop music of the time, like there's just like really cool blends of sounds that are happening. And I feel like we're kind of still closer to that. Yeah. Like maybe 90s alternative. I love the term alternative, but I feel like it just like it now represents like alternative rock. It's like kind of like you think, but when you think of like 90s alternative, it was kind of like alternative, like it was a lot of things.
I mean, yes, it's definitely you know, cool that still that you have, you know, that kind of your own lane. You know, I know it can present difficulties when you're trying to get on playlists that are very specific with genres. I run into that myself, you know, because I like to call it Southern soul pop, which is like pop R&B with like some rock and country kind of infused in there. And so I do run into a lot of like, it sounds too country, or it sounds too pop, or it sounds too R&B. And like, I feel like everybody's it's too the other thing, you know? And so it you know, it can present difficulties when you're trying to get on playlists. But I feel like I still get on enough playlists to where, you know, it's obviously I'm not, you know, I don't have any like, you know, viral hits or anything like that. But, you know, I feel like.
But the viral hits didn't even happen on playlists. That's the funny thing about it. You know what I mean? They happen on social media and like transfer into plays and stuff like that. Yes. But it's not, you know, so it's, I don't know. You know, I don't know if songs go viral on playlists? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like maybe some, but yeah, I feel like it is more likely that it's gonna do something on social media. You know, I feel like that happens probably more often.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, there are songs that will, you know, catch on playlists and stuff. Or you mentioned like sync, like with Aloe Blacc. Like sometimes those syncs, like you get in a show, and then you know that can help, you know, take you off too.
Yeah, I mean, then that in his case, you know, that was the theme song.
Yes.
So it's like every episode, the first thing you see, ding, 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 ding. You know, like so that was a big win.
Yeah.
I'm still I get plenty of syncs, or I get a fair amount. I get a couple syncs a year through just co-writing with other people and stuff like that. Still waiting for the Mystical Joyride big sync.
Yeah.
But you know, it's funny because we have a whole project that we did that's way more like sync centric with this producer called Shiny is Shiny. He's on Pulse, and like we actually perform regularly a couple of the songs that we wrote with him. Nice. But there's still some other ones that are like pretty like commercial syncy. So I'm hoping, you know, it's like you never know. The thing is, like, sometimes you'll have done something and then like years and years later something will like, oh yes, that thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, no, I've talked to, you know, a few people on this podcast that have done sync and things like that. And yeah, some of them said, you know, it was like years later, like, you know, some in cases 5 years later, and then something, you know, something gets synced and then you start seeing some money from it. So yeah, you never know what's gonna like catch on or what's gonna land in something. And so it's like you just got to create as much as possible, you know.
You got to create, and I think the one thing that I've learned actually through trying to make that sync stuff is that I think it's more the genuine music that you make for not trying to make sync music. Yes. You know, like I mean, I do think we wrote a few really good bangers that I would stand by, like regardless. But then like some of it's like you listen to it and you're like, wow, this is like some real sync. You know, sync music. You know, it's like it's, and that music. You know, I don't think even like sync people are like, you know, like you know what I mean. They want that like genuine thing, and sync is always changing too. I think when we started making that sync music, they were all doing like the sync bangers with the stomp clap vibes, and like now it's like more like piano and vocal. You know, like so it's I don't know. It's always evolving and changing. Yeah. You know,
it always is evolving and changing for sure. But I do think that I am hearing, at least now, you know, a lot of people, you know, kind of like yourself, and then other people. I went to a sync conference recently, and I feel like one of the common themes was people saying that the genuine music, like kind of make the music that you want to make, and then, you know, kind of see about getting it synced versus like just kind of writing specifically for, you know, I mean, which you can, you know, there's people that do have some success just like writing the briefs. They get the briefs and then they just write the songs specifically for those briefs or whatever, or people write songs specifically for sync and get, like, there's people that, you know, have success doing that. I'm not like knocking it, but I feel like I am hearing a lot more from people in that space that, you know, writing music that is authentic to you and genuine to you is kind of the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, at least then you know, even if it doesn't get synced, you have integrity in it with it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, 100%. I wanted to talk to you more also about your live performance with Mystical Joyride. And I kind of alluded to it earlier that it really feels like more of an experience versus just watching some people sing, you know? So kind of what are y'all thinking about as y'all are getting ready to perform and y'all are putting together your kind of live show?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, again, like my idea about the show is it's a presentation. It's, you're presenting your music. So, you know, the awareness around how you're presenting it, and then obviously the flow is very important. And, so like, you know, like the way we start our set, we almost always, it's kind of like a ceremonial thing. We play a song called Let's Get Weird. And we have like a kind of like an epic intro to that, where it's like, you're like, you know, if you haven't seen it before, you're like, what's going on? Like, what's going to happen? I got no idea. And then like, you know, like we welcome the people in, we say, let's get weird. And that's kind of like the, you know, the introduction to our set. Like, you know, like obviously some things is going to go down here that you didn't expect, you know? But then I think it's just a flow. It's just like, that's something that I've learned over many years of playing with Aloe Blacc and playing the shows is just the energy is malleable, right? And you want to keep it flowing. You want to keep people in this space container. The shorter the set, it actually is the easier to keep them in the container.
Yes.
The longer the set, you're like, it gets a little like, okay, you got to like create some really bigger dynamics and like things to change. And even then it's, all of our human attention span is only realistically so long, like as much as we might even love something, like when I saw Prince and like years ago and they like gave Renato Nato his piano solo, everybody went to go get a drink, come back. Right. So, like there's things like that. I mean, but I think it's just trying to keep people engaged, trying to keep them in it. I think that, like making it relevant to them. Like it's funny because a lot of the times, like you said, it's an experience. We get a lot of people just staring. You know what I mean? And it's not that they're not enjoying it. It's just like it's because they're like enthralled. They're like they're curious. They're inspired. My favorite note always is feeling inspired because they're like, wait a second. Like some people come up to me and they say, "Oh, I'm so inspired." Like you like that to me gave them the idea that there's more possible. You know what I mean? Like there's more possible than they perceived before. And so that's my favorite note, but at the end of the day, it's entertainment. Yeah. It's entertainment. It's a flow. It's a show. It's like, we want to like keep them in the world, them in our world. We want them to, and just do our best to keep them there, and crowd participation. Yes. Like if we can get people dancing, then we got them, you know what I mean? And it's like, it doesn't, if they're not dancing, then it's going to be a little weird. Yeah. But that's anybody's show, right? Yeah. But it's that just trying to keep them there in that magical space of like, what is happening? And like, like if once people have seen the show before and then they come back, then they tend to do more dancing. Yes. Because they're less like surprised. Yeah. Like they're like more comfortable to just like, okay, now I can vibe out. Cause I know they're going to be weird. Yeah. I know they're going to like take me some places. I'm just here for the ride. Yeah. But just trying to give you something you haven't seen before, and it is sort of like a ceremony. Like when I open it up, like with this like prompt, let's get weird. Like it's okay to do something different, Yeah. And then we usually close them like, depending on how the flow of the show is or the set, we almost always close with the song All One, which kind of like leaves you with this powerful, like, positive message. We're all one, with the strings and everything. And like, so, it's just that it's a ride. Yeah. It's a mystical joyride. Yeah. I'm still trying to get a bigger grip on the longer sets. It's just harder to keep the container like tight in that regard. But I need to figure that out because I have some sets coming. We played at Joshua Tree this last year. It was like an 1.5-hour set. And it was cool because I had the most amount of people in Mystical Joyride at that time. Nice. Like we've got a dancer now. We've got a percussionist. I had an additional percussionist. We had more guests. Yeah, nice. And we have a number of collaboration tracks. So like it's kind of fun to always be able to like, like some shows we have this guy who can show up. Some shows we have this other person that can show up, and like, keeping the surprise element I think is always good too. And just like, you never know what's going to happen. That's like the kind of the fun of it. Yeah, absolutely. No, I love that, that collaboration aspect you were talking about. I think that definitely helps. I like to do a lot of collaborations as well, but I think, when you're performing live, kind of it helps switch up the energy, switch up the, you're hearing different voices, you're hearing, different things. And so I feel like that helps, people stay engaged and stay, at the end of the day, it's like attention, what I mean? Like, he's watching the same performer perform for an hour. It's like, you've seen all their tricks by about halfway through, absolutely. So, like say, unless they surprise you with something different. So there's definitely that, I was inspired a lot when I first started making Mystical Joyride. Was kind of like melding this, like, I love Thievery Corporation. I don't know if you've heard them, or they have a lot of collaboration. Every song has a different singer. I also loved like Buddha Bar, which is like kind of like had like a collection of music in this similar style that like different like compilation vibes. And so there's an element of that, I think, that also lends itself to like the genre fluidness. It's just like, you know, taking it all kinds of different places. And there's no culture that I'm like, I want to like, you know, I want to collaborate with all people from all the different cultures. Cause that's like, I feel like the magic is like, there's just like the fusion of like, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I kind of, you know, I do some genre blending too, but I think it's also like, you know, it's like, cause you know, as humans, our different experiences, you know, shape us, you know what I mean? And so like, you know, I used to be a rapper, but also I, you know, grew up in the South, and I, you know, my dad was a preacher. And so, and there's all these different elements of like who I am. And so it's nice to kind of put all that together in the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think we should all like share those strengths, you know, like whatever your strengths are, like put them together. I think that culturally in America, we're like so melting potty now that it's like, that it's hard to have something pure in a way, but at the same time, there's like so much innovation because of that. Yeah. You know, like to have something be like, oh, it's almost like you have to force yourself to make a one genre project or something. Like I have like, okay, only soul music. Oh, and then you have to like be very like controlling, you know, like, you know, but you know, it's still possible, but it's hard. So.
Yeah, no, it is hard. But I mean, I think it is cool though to kind of introduce, you know, unique things. And like it's like we were talking about, you know, if you can give people something that they haven't seen and or heard before, then I feel like that's, and then you get really good at that thing, then I feel like that's kind of where the magic is. At least that's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I stand by our live show, and I think like, you know, it's funny too, because like sometimes, you know, a lot of older people will actually really like it. They'll be like, wow, what? You guys, like, you know, like that was cool, man. Like what? You know, and it's not like you know, we have some hip hop type stuff, and it's not like they're like turned off, because also we're like generally pretty positive with the messaging. You know, like we got a song called "Shake That Asshole," which occasionally puts some people off, but the people that it puts on are there for life. So.
And I gotta give Leah her props too, because she's an incredible performer. Both of you are great performers. Like I remember one show specifically of y'all's I saw. Leah was full on pregnant. And it was incredible. And she was like, I mean, she didn't skip a beat. I mean, and she was just like up there, she's like twerking and like just going going all in, you know what I mean? Just full energy, full on, like looked like she was about to pop any second, you know what I mean? But she just, I love that. She just like, she goes all in, and it's like, it's dope. It's dope to watch.
Yeah. She, I think that was our last show that season before she popped like maybe a month after that. I want to tell a funny story, because when I first met Leah, she was sitting behind her acoustic guitar, and if she got her on stage, she was terrified. Wow. Stage fright. Like just so scared to perform, you know, and like she'd like melt down sometimes and cry, or like, you know, it was like, and I mean, so the transformation from that to who she is now is an amazing blossoming, like, you know, it's like, it's totally like she just owns the stage. You know? And so, I'm proud of her too.
Yeah, no, it's super dope. I love it. Yeah. Joel, thank you so much for joining me,
my
brother.
Dude. Yes,
sir.
Yeah. I knew it was a risk. You should have gave me this shit.
I could have gave you this hand right here. That's what I should have done. My bad. I was going with this hand. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, how can people find you, man?
Well, you can find me joelvandyke.com. I'm on Instagram as Joel Van Dizzle. Joel Van Dijk, JoelVandijk, the proper Dutch spelling, because my dad was a full-on Dutch immigrant who married my mom and moved here. JoelVanDyke.com, you know, social media is probably the best place these days, and MysticalJoyride.com and at Mystical Joyride.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you,
brother.
Thank
you.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching. If there was something in particular that resonated with you, definitely let us know in the comments. Also, make sure you like this episode and subscribe as well. And if there's somebody out there who you feel like could get something out of this, then go ahead and send it to them. We'll catch you next time, all right?